A federal judge has just delivered a shocking ruling, and it's bad news for ICE. But here's the twist. It's a victory for peaceful protesters, journalists, and democracy itself. The case didn't just unfold in Portland. The ripple effects could be felt across the UK and beyond. This isn't just another court decision. This is a turning point. You might think this ruling only matters in one small corner of the world, but trust me, what this judge said about the state of democracy will make you rethink everything. Stick around, because what happens next is going to change the way you view the balance of power. And you won't believe what the judge had to say about it. So what exactly happened? A federal judge, Michael Simon, just ruled that ICE can no longer use excessive force. No more tear gas or projectiles against peaceful protesters. Sounds like a win for civil rights, right? But this isn't just about what happened in Portland. It's part of a much larger pattern that's unfolding across the United States. Think about it. If federal agents can act like this, what does that mean for every protest, every journalist, every citizen trying to make their voice heard? What's stopping this from happening in your own neighborhood? It's not just a legal battle. It's a fight for the very fabric of democracy. And here's the question nobody is asking. If the courts can stand up to ICE, what's stopping them from holding other powerful forces accountable? Now, here's the twist. The judge's ruling wasn't just a slap on the wrist for ICE. It was a direct challenge to the very foundations of unchecked power. Judge Simon made it crystal clear federal agents are not above the law. He said, in a well-functioning constitutional democracy, free speech, courageous news gathering, and nonviolent protest are all permitted, respected, and even celebrated. What he's really saying here is chilling. We're at a crossroads. The fact that this ruling even had to happen speaks volumes about where we are right now. Notice what's missing from all this. No one in power is admitting that this abuse has been happening regularly. That's the real danger. And if this ruling stands, it could signal a shift in the way the courts respond to lawlessness from the top down. This isn't just a one-off incident. This situation is escalating fast. The fact that we're seeing such a dramatic pushback from the courts shows just how far things have gone. We're not talking about a single mistake or a rogue agent. This is a pattern that's been allowed to grow. Think back to past moments in history when governments overstepped their bounds. What did it take for society to snap back into action? In some ways, we've seen this story before. But what's different now is the scale and the frequency of these abuses. ICE has been gassing protesters, even children, and firing projectiles without hesitation. It's become disturbingly normal, and that's what should terrify us most, when the unthinkable starts becoming routine. And here's where things get even more disturbing. Judge Simon didn't stop at just banning tear gas. He made it clear. No more projectiles, not even less lethal ones, unless there's an imminent threat to life. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a system where protesters, simply exercising their First Amendment rights, were being treated like criminals. But it gets worse. The judge didn't just call out ICE's actions. He called the entire situation unconstitutional. This ruling isn't just about a temporary restraining order. It's a direct condemnation of a federal agency abusing power and trampling on civil rights. And now, every time ICE steps out of line, this ruling hangs over them like a shadow. It's a permanent reminder that there are lines that even they can't cross. The next time they go too far, it won't be just a legal battle. It'll be a battle for the soul of the nation. Now, the pressure's really building. Within hours of the ruling, we started seeing more signs of tension, and it's clear this isn't going to be easy for ICE to swallow. But the fallout doesn't end with the ruling. Across the country, several other cases are starting to line up, all looking to replicate what happened in Portland. And they've got the blueprint now, the case law, the arguments, and the evidence to take on ICE in their own jurisdictions. It's like a snowball gathering speed. What happens if this continues? What happens if judges around the country start following this lead, slapping down federal agencies every time they overstep? The potential for real systemic change is now on the table, and it's terrifying for anyone in power trying to push back. But here's where this gets personal. Because it's not just about ICE or the courts, it's about you. It's about the people standing in the streets, the journalists filming the truth, the citizens trying to make their voices heard. Every time the government abuses power, it's not just an abstract legal issue, it's a direct attack on your rights. You might not be protesting on the front lines, but this ruling affects you just as much. It sends a message that the government can't just bulldoze over the people without consequences. If you've ever felt like the system is rigged, this is where it changes. And if you think this feels familiar, or if you've seen this pattern before, let me know in the comments. because this fight is far from over. Now let's take a step back. What's really behind all this? Why are we seeing this aggressive behavior from federal agencies in the first place? It's more than just a few bad apples. It's a system that rewards unchecked power. These agencies have become emboldened by a culture of fear, spectacle, and a lack of accountability. For years, the system has been set up to protect the powerful and silence the people. But here's the unsettling truth. This isn't a one-off. This kind of overreach happens because the mechanisms are in place to make it possible. It's easy to point the finger at ICE, but the real problem is a system that enables these abuses to happen without consequence. And that's where the real fight is, changing the system that allows this to continue unchecked. So where does this go from here? There are two possible paths we could take. On one hand, we could see more and more judges stepping up, taking cues from this ruling and pushing back against federal overreach. This could spark a wave of legal challenges, forcing the system to confront its own abuses. But on the other hand, the momentum could slow down. The Trump administration and its allies have a history of digging in their heels, ignoring court rulings, and continuing with business as usual. If that happens, we could see this issue drag on in the courts for years with no clear resolution. The truth is, we're at a crossroads. The decisions made in the next few months will likely determine whether this moment sparks lasting change or whether the system continues to spiral out of control. In the end, this ruling is a stark reminder of one truth. Power, unchecked, leads to chaos. But it's also a glimmer of hope, because now, more than ever, we're seeing that the system can be challenged. The courts have the power to hold those in charge accountable, and if they continue to do so, we might just start to see real change. So, what does this mean for you? It means that your voice still matters, and so does your right to speak out. We're not powerless in the face of a system gone wrong, but to keep this momentum going, we need to stay engaged, stay informed, and hold those in power to account. Don't let this moment slip by. Subscribe and stay tuned for more analysis as we continue to follow the path forward.